right. So we're gonna bring in the LG music. How you doing?
Hey, Robbie, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm gonna log in real quickly to another account over here because I like to add an extra um, computer, an extra camera, so people can watch what I'm doing on the keyboard. Because some people were interested in that last time. But while I'm
Sweet.
setting up that additional camera angle, why don't you, for people who don't know who you are, let people know who you are and also what your streams are about. And we're also going to, after that, I'm going to end our Facebook Live. But I figured it's going to be kind of a teaser for anybody that is listening on the podcast or watching us on Facebook to maybe come over and click that twitch.tv Robbie G button and come on over and join us for this art stream.
Yeah, that's right. And also, I just want to recognize that CT and Carly are now realizing it's October 3rd. It's a really big holiday in my house because my wife is a huge Mean Girls fan. So
Oh, yeah.
we she's wearing pink today too, but she's out with the dog. So I'm just really glad that somebody caught it. But yeah, I'm Luis. I'm a on Twitch I go as the LG Music. I'm a singer songwriter. I live in the state of New Mexico. I'm married to my wife, who goes by the Pasta Wife on Twitch and in other places. We've been married for 10 years, going on 11. We'll be going on 11 in January, which is crazy. We have a dog and we have two adorable cats as well. And what else? My streams usually I just play music and we hang out, and there's a lot of dad jokes throughout the way. And just have a really good time. And I'm just happy to be here. And the theme is always tacos. So I'm excited for some taco merch magic going on. I'm very excited.
Yes, I'm excited to make some taco merchandise with you as well. So, with that, we're going to end our audio podcast for people who are just listening to us on that, as well as thank you to all the people. We had a ton of people commenting on our Facebook live stream. I know that a lot of the Twitch people don't see that side of it, but a lot of people asking questions about football and talking to us on that side. So, I really want to thank everyone for tuning in over there on Facebook, and we'll be back next week. Again, 9 o'clock start next week. We'll be talking hockey for the first 45. We'll then get into some football and then some basketball. This is our last art stream, so please click over to Twitch if you want to join us for that. Let me make sure that I end the right thing. There's like 8 buttons in front of me, and we're streaming on 2 different things. You don't want to click the wrong stream off. So we'll stop that. But we're DC Sports Without the Politics. And Sports on the Hill podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. All right. So I think we're...
See you, podcast people.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the podcast is done, so that's good. We're still recording, which is good as our backup, which I always appreciate in case something goes down on Twitch. So that's good. Let me see here. We're still on our sports casting view, so I'm going to switch us over to art here. I'm running 3 computers at once, Louis. It's pretty crazy.
I know. I have you on 2 different screens.
Yeah.
One is the Zoom, and then I have the Twitch screen open so I can keep up with chat, and I'm like, I don't know which one to go to.
Right. Yeah, it gets very complicated. So, like, I've got one computer just using it as a camera. Got another one that I'm looking at and can see chat. We got this one that's got the OBS going. And I'm in my dad's office because of COVID, and I'm not at home. So I'm not even using my studio computer that's already preset for everything. I literally had to create a whole new instance of OBS and, like, design everything from scratch. So luckily it's been going pretty well so far. Game art. Does that work? I don't know if I can make it game art. I think I will turn the art thing on in a second. But let me make sure that we switch over to here. I am a co-host. Great. And now I go over to this Zoom, and I'm going to share the screen, and then we click.
Ooh, yeah, I see the screen. Yes, I see Andy.
Yes, and then we are going to switch this to an art screen, and there we go. Magic.
Woohoo!
All right, so we've got Photoshop over here. So Luis, you haven't been part of our art streams before. One of the cool things about doing this thing, if people haven't been following along the last 3 weeks, because there's no hockey and basketball, or just very little bit of preseason, we've decided I've always wanted to be an art streamer on Twitch, but I promised my wife I wouldn't stream a second day of the week. So for the few weeks that I don't have 2 hours of sports, I figured I could do an hour of sports and then an hour of doing art as well. And so that would be really kind of a cool opportunity. And so some of the things that we were able to do, we were able to create a wave emote for Eddie Brown. We were able to do a sway emote for him, a 2 thumbs up emote for him. We were able to make a couple of different emotes for Andy as well, which are some of the ones that you're seeing on the screen, including a fire emote for him and a loop emote for him. So some of them are like this, so you can see him crying there. We've had it with different backgrounds. And so you can see here we've got a ton of different styles that we've done. This is what we ended up with for the crying one. So you can sort of see what that one looks like a little bit, right? It's got the clouds going behind it.
I like that. Are those Simpson clouds?
It's kind of like Simpsons clouds. That was kind of my inspiration. So
that's cool.
And then we also created this fire one, which is him sort of summering fires from the depth of hell. He's a rocker, and just sort of there, and there he is. And Andy's also. I think got a new song coming out soon. I think he's going to end up using this maybe for the.
Yes, I just saw it today, like on Instagram. He posted
Okay.
I don't know if it came out. I think it came out today. Actually.
Yeah, I think it's in the process of being released on different platforms. Yeah. I think it's already on Amazon, but I think it's slowly crawling through the internet. And so I love that we made this to try to for a subathon, as if he could get 50. Subs, and it would unlock this emote, and we were able to accomplish that. And then we also, by doing that, you also unlock a regular emote with it as well. And so we designed this loop emote, and I think that he's actually doing some merch with this loop. And you can see I put some integrate notes in there and some add. So when it's really small, you don't see it as much, but when it's blown up for like a shirt or something, it looks kind of cool. And so those are some of the things that we're able to develop. And then the last week, we had KR on, and one of his big supporters is Fry, and so we created sort of, I call it the Obama effect, where you take a picture and you take them down to their base colors, and it basically looks like a cartoon character then.
Yeah.
And so a thumbs up Fry for KR, which was a fun one to make. So those are what we're able to do. If anyone missed any of those streams and how we made them, they're all up on my channel. I actually created, a lot of people don't even know these things exist, called a collection. And a collection is a collection of highlights. And I've highlighted all of those episodes. I made a collection of it. You go down to the art collection, and you can actually check that out. And there's even some older ones in there, including one with Carly when we made Carly's merch. And so this will be, the first one in the collection will be Carly's merch, and the last one in the collection will be the LG merch. So I thought that would be kind of a fun way to bookend
Carly's a big part of the team.
Yes.
Both of our teams.
It's true.
We're all good.
And I appreciate Carly for being in chat with us. There's an arrow escaped. I've been missing all the Pokemon. So, for you who haven't been a part of some of these streams so far, what I need from you, LG, while I'm in Photoshop mode, you read to me chat or anything exciting or interesting, plus you give me critiques about the art and give me influence as we design and we build this stuff out, right? So you're kind of my eyes and ears on both chat and giving me advice, and you can ask me questions about what the hell I'm doing. So I used to be a Photoshop teacher, for those who don't know. I did that for 4 years, and including teaching animation classes. we're not making an animation today, but I also taught just regular Photoshop. And if you have any questions about Photoshop while I'm doing it, I'm happy to answer. And that same thing goes for chat. So chat, just ask a question. You don't have to use, there is a redeem that you can use to ask a question. Don't have to use that. Just you can @ LG or just write the question, and LG will let me know the question, and we can answer those as we go through this process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That works. I'm excited. Yeah.
Let me drink some water, because that was a lot that I just said. So, all right, we're going to build something new. So you're making merch. So we're going to make this very high resolution. So when I make an emote, I make it 1,000 by 1,000, which usually gets shrunk down to like 250 by 250, and then even smaller when you actually see it, right? But I always design bigger, because if someone wanted to throw it up on their channel, like during one of their shows, that way it's not pixelated when they enlarge it, right? Does that make sense? And then and then things get shrunk down, and that's fine. So with this, we're going to make things even larger. And I usually tend to like to still work in a square format, because you can still drop the square with a transparent background onto a piece of merch, a shirt, a mug, or whatever, right? So I still think that's a pretty good, and it's a square. It doesn't have to be a square. It could be a circle inside the square, but we're just trying to figure out a base, template, if you will, for us to be designing in, right? So this is our, what do they call it? I guess you call it like a pasteboard, right? This is where we're going to drop all of our elements into, and we're going to design. We're going to design it 10,000 by 10,000 pixels with 300 DPI. I'm going to design it in RGB, because that's what we're viewing things in, and that's how everybody can see stuff. Colors will slightly change if you were to print it in what's called CMYK, which people who don't know, a quick little lesson in colors. RGB is what we're seeing things in. It's all a mixture of reds, greens, and blues, right? But when you print something, it often is printed in what's called CMYK. And CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And so everything that's printed is divided into those colors, right? So you can design in either of those spaces. You can see right here, color mode. You can be grayscale, which is just black and white, but RGB color or CMYK color or lab color, which is you can actually put in specific dyes and stuff like that. That's very complicated. I never work in that. We're not going to talk about that. I probably technically, since it's for print on a design, should design in CMYK. I think it's going to be okay if the colors shift a little bit between what we see on screen and what is actually printed. I don't think anyone is going to be like, oh, it's not the exact red, And so, but if you were to design for a poster, you always know it's going to be a poster. It's never really going to be designed for print. You would design it in CMYK. We're going to do RGB because it's easier to look at on Twitch. So that's going to be.
So Ryan has a good question. That black guy has a good question.
Yes.
Why not see what CMYB? Kind of funny that they ducked the trend of using the first letter.
Good question.
To avoid confusion with blue?
Yes, actually, exactly. Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
So B is blue in color and K is black. And there's actually two blacks. If we want to start to get really into it, there's what's called a matte black.
There's black and blacker.
There's black and blacker. Two different shiny, so there's a matte and a shiny black, right? Because if you look at things that are printed, sometimes it's more of like a matte, more of a flatter color, and sometimes it's more of a shiny black, right? When you see things.
Yeah.
So there is some differences there. They don't differentiate it on the computer, but it's just something important when I have a plotter in my office, which is a poster printer. That can also be used for a wide variety of other things, including plotting, things for architecture. That's what it's really used for, but I use it as a poster printer. So with that, there's two blacks in there, matte black and a more of a rich black. But we can talk about color theory for a long time. I took whole classes in it, but I don't want to get bogged down in that. So we design things here, 10,000 by 10,000 pixels. And if we look at the canvas size for that, and we look at it in inches, this would be about a 33 inch by 33 inch thing. I don't think anything you're going to print on is going to be larger than that. I mean, there are things that are bigger than that, but we're printing it on a shirt. A shirt's probably a couple, it's like a foot by a foot, right? So depending on the shirt, maybe a couple of feet. But we're going to design it bigger. And then at the very end, we'll shrink things down to a couple of different sizes, and you can use them for, both on your stream as well as for printing different things. So we're starting with that.
Hey, Be Kind.
What was that?
Be Kind just jumped in the
chat.
Oh,
nice. Hey, Be Kind. Welcome. This is awesome. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Feel free. I don't have the time to do it right now, but if anyone wants to mention any of their Discords that we're doing this, I would appreciate it. But I'm not going to stop the stream for that. We have plenty of people in chat, and people can always check out the VODs later if they so choose to. All right, so you wanted to do something with taco, and then you had a slogan, right?
Yes. Let me look it up. What did I tell you again? Oh, hold on. Wait, I have Discord open right here. So my idea was, so the first one, I don't know if it's super original. It probably might not be. But my original idea was kind of try to riff off like the 90s ads, like the Got Milk ads, but instead it's Got Tacos ? Maybe just like a design of a taco or something with like that font. And that was the first idea. The second idea, I kind of I guess it's kind of like a homage to Twitch, because we all have viewers from all over the world. And so I was thinking Twitch is global, so I kind of want something about like music around the world, but also keep it on brand, one taco at a time. Kind of that was the slogan I was thinking.
Right. I like both of them. I'm just dropping both of them into text boxes right now so we can have the spelling correct and all that sort of stuff. And we're actually this is just a fun font that I'm throwing it in. So these are just, so that way we can start to take a look at it. I'm going to make it a pretty simple font. Let's just, for now, we're just going to put it in Arial, right? And then we can start talking fonts, and we can look up fonts together, in fact, and there's a lot of different things that we can, there are a lot of ways that we can go with this. So you were thinking those are two different ideas, right? It wasn't like Got Tacos and music around the world, one taco at a time isn't going around that, right? It's two different things.
I was thinking two different things. I feel like it would be too much to have it all in one.
Have it all in one. That's fair. I just figure I want to ask the question. So let me save this real quickly on my computer just as a starting template. And then we're going to go in two different directions. We'll go in two different paths with that then. So we're going to call this Got Tacos for the first one. And then...
Cool. Be Kind says she likes the idea. Andy wants to know if we've made anything yet. Nope, we're working on it, Andy. We're going. We're doing it. Yes. Well, Robbie's doing it. I'm just sitting here.
Well, yeah, that's why it's called Design with Me, because you're designing with me, right? So
I know. I was like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna do this collab with Robbie, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just gonna sit there and watch him do stuff.
Yeah, well, you have a very important job of reading chat to me.
The easy part.
And you're reading chat and giving me feedback. Those are two things that I need.
That's true. Very true.
And I love doing it this way because it's with the delay of chat. Like it's so hard to wait for feedback, and so we can talk it out. And you also can see the Zoom screen a little bit easier than in chat and stuff like that. Although I kind of like this new layout that I came up with. It's kind of a scuffed layout, but it's also bigger, so it actually works out in some ways a little bit better. So it makes me reconsider what my layout might be on my And sometimes I like that. Sometimes it's nice to start over from scratch. You see things differently than you would before. So let's start with Got Tacos. We have both of these now, two different files. So I'm going to have both of them up now. So this is Music Around the World, one taco at a time. So that's this one. And then from these drop downs, we're going to go to the other one. And so now we've got two files open, and we can design both of them. So first things first. So with the Got Tacos, couple different things. The imagery we have to talk about and the lettering. So those are the two big things that you talk about when you talk about design work, right? So we already have the words, which is the first step. The next thing is the imagery. And so what I like to do is I like to sometimes, search the internet real quick. We can find some different tacos, and then we're just going to Photoshop the hell out of them to take them from what they were into something that they aren't, or weren't before. So so with that, we're going to stop this screen share for just a second, and then I'm going to open up a new Safari window. And we're going to search tacos, and then I'm going to share.
So one of my emotes is like the fire taco. I can send you that if that'll.
Actually, that would be great, because if it's already artwork that you have, then I think that could be, especially if it's in pretty high resolution. Like, I know that it's smaller.
That's what I'm not sure of.
So send it to me, and maybe we can. And sometimes pixelation isn't the worst. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you can play with that and get like an 8-bit feel or something that's a little bit different. So here is tacos, and we can look at.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me, but we'll also take a quick look at other taco ideas. So we're gonna look at taco graphics.
Yeah. Yeah, so Engraver Gamer designed that for me, but he designed it for an emote, and he's an artist, so I'm sure he's thinking all this. He was thinking all the same things we're thinking about already.
Right. So you sent it to me on Discord?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, but I like those tacos that are showing up. Those are kind of cool.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you already
look at those like cute Taco Tuesday ones holding hands.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Maybe that is where we go.
With like the other one.
Yeah. Why is this?
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it.
Hold on.
Like maybe we go that route for the other one.
Drag into here. All right. All right.
The tacos have to be delicious.
Right.
Just be kind says, and then Carly would love to have a taco. Ooh, Daddy Flat Guy has a really good idea for the Got Tacos one. He said, "I nominate a milk carton with a taco label on it." It's actually not a bad idea. That is a good play on like.
Yeah. All right. Let's
the theme idea.
I like that. So let's let's find out a good milk carton then. Let me go back
sweet
to here,
potatoes
and I can
underrated
do this.
Filling for burritos and tacos. Ooh, I'd never thought of sweet potatoes. Like I've had potatoes and like burritos and tacos before, but not sweet potatoes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's go to clip
or a
art.
Guitar with a taco in it. Good idea. Or maybe a taco playing a guitar. So many ideas from chat.
Yeah, no, I like it. And so these, I'm looking through these different graphics here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that one's kind of a cool one. And I'm going to copy it over, but then we're just going to use this as a base, right? Mm-hmm. And then, oh wow, that is so small in comparison to the resolution that we're working with.
Like, do you remember that music video from, was it Blur? Coffee and TV. That's what I'm thinking about. Where it had like the missing like milk carton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is giving me vibes of.
Yeah. Oh, I like that missing milk carton with missing kids. Let's see that one.
Yeah.
I want one where it's far enough back. Ooh.
Well, that doesn't look creepy.
But remember, we're gonna Photoshop the hell out of it. So we're just using this as a base. Yeah. All right, let's copy this one over as well.
Missing tacos.
Missing tacos. That's.
I'm glad. At least Ryan gets where I'm going with this.
Right. All right, we're gonna stop that share for a second. We're gonna re-share the Photoshop screen and go over here. All right. Sounds good. All right, so we've got a couple of different designs here that we're working with, and we're going to get rid of this timeline control because we don't need it, because we're not making an animation today. That'll give us a little bit more real estate to work with, and there we go. So what we could do is, if we like this general idea, I also want to bring up our taco. So what we could do is, if we're going to draw real quickly, we're going to try to mimic some of these basic things. We're going to try to simplify it, right? So let's do it with a white fill.
Ooh, I love where this is going.
All right, so we got a white box here. We're going to double click it. We're going to add a stroke to it. That'll give it a black border around it, like that, right?
Ooh, that's quick.
And then the taco will appear here, right? And for now, I'm going to change the opacity down of this rectangle so I can see through it. So that's kind of a trick, right? And then I'm going to use it as a stencil, and we're going to write some text onto it. So we like the missing. And I'm going to do everything in Arial for now. It's a very simple font. And then at the end, we can always go back through and we can, change up the fonts and do all that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to try to, almost like sketch out on Photoshop all the different elements that we're going to use. And then from there, we can do some other cool stuff. So here, we need a box for that. We need that also to have a stroke. So to save time, I'm going to copy this layer style. So copy that layer style. I'm going to paste it on here. And so that's going to add a box around that. So now if we look at this, we're going to bring up the opacity real quickly. So now if we then take out these things, so that's where we're starting with, right? So now we've got to build out the other parts of the box. So missing, we got the taco right there. And we could write, so it's just got taco, right?
Got tacos. Well, I feel like plural. I mean, everybody likes more than one taco, right?
So right, yeah.
We'll just keep it plural.
One taco is never enough.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let me go here and pull up some more toolbars. Where is my text navigator? Go arrange work size. Why isn't this not giving? Okay, hold on. Window, workspace, reset essentials. All right, there we go. So, got tacos here. We're going to, right now it's got too much spacing between it. So there we go. We're going to close that down. So this thing right here, you can see it's the tracking, the space between the letters, right? So the leading is how much is up and down. So we want it to be a little bit closer like that. I even make it a little bit like this. By making it closer, then we can make the font size larger, right? We can also go through and go to the, where is it, properties? Scroll down here.
I know, me too, Ryan. I'm like, Ryan says he's liking it already. I'm like, me too. I really like this.
Thank you. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed being a graphic designer. It's funny, when I was in college, I started to go to school for computer programming. I was a programmer. Starting in 9th grade, I used to go to community colleges for programming, and the languages I learned were dead by the time I got to senior year. And that made me think, when I got to college, I did my first year, I went to the University of Pennsylvania, I was competing with some of the top engineers in the world, and it was really tough. I was struggling, some of these high-end math and science classes. I mean, they make you take Calculus 2 as your base math class.
That's gross.
And yeah, so it gets pretty rough pretty quick. And so I decided to take one graphic design class to see how it would go. And I just had an idea. See, it says find Kenneth below. Wouldn't it be funny if it said find tacos? I think that would be kind of
either find tacos, or that's where I was thinking we could just put like hashtag VLLG music.
Oh, I like that.
That way, that way we don't have to put like a logo or anything there. Like, we could just go off of that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Who's Kenneth? I mean, I hope Kenneth got found. I really do. I have no idea who he is, but I hope he got found.
I do too. All right, so let's build another box, an outer box.
Find tacos.
And we should still have that saved in the pasteboard. So we're going to paste this layer style there. And we're going to change the opacity. And we're going to put this one at the bottom. So now we got this there. Oh, wait, I think it's got to go down another layer. There we go. So you can start to see things or boxing within boxes and stuff like that. And we may end up keeping some of the initial design, right? We're going to try to Photoshop it into itself. And because I don't mind some of that. We're going to cut out some of the background now. Because I think I like this design. Because I got another milk carton, but I think that it's pretty good. And so for people who don't know, once you Photoshop at least 50% of it, it's your design now. Like, I don't think people could say, hey, the original one is there anymore,
really?
right? So it'd be hard for people to be like, oh, it's from that thing, right? Especially once I've cut out the background, like, it'll start to look even more different. But I still want to keep some of the original milk carton there because it's going to be hard for me to draw it that's going to look as good. And I like some of the realistic part of it next to it as well. So we may draw some lines here and some side to this side. But let's just take this and we're going to cut it out. So for that, we're going to do a pretty simple... there's a bunch of different ways you can cut things out, but I like using the quick selection tool. And if you hold down the shift button and you select an area... And then you hold down the option button, see, and you sort of cut back in. See, just do a little bit. Oh, too much. Let me see if I can grab some of that again. Sometimes when the colors are very close, it's hard, but we're going to try our best.
Everybody seems shocked about the 50% rule. I had no idea either. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, because... once it's 50% different, it's different. It's not the same. It's not the design that it once was, right? You know, like, you have to be really careful if it's going to be really widely commercially used and it's obvious what it was. But, I mean, I hope you sell a ton of merchandise, but I don't think that it's going to be like...
Probably not.
I don't know if thousands and thousands of people are going...
realistic expectations.
Right, yeah. So,
probably not.
you know, I've designed a lot of merch for a lot of different people, and, you know, if anyone got 50 of it sold, I would be very happy for them. So, you know, I do like to keep things real. Anyway, so we go, and I'm going to zoom in, because often the best way to do stuff is zoom in. You can get some detail.
Andy says, Kenneth may come find me. No, he won't, because... you know, we're taking 50% off his design, so he'll never know.
He'll never know.
Again, assuming I really hope Kenneth got found.
Yeah, and the design looks like it's from the 30s, so who knows if Kenneth is even around anymore? So, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's an old-looking milk carton, so who knows?
Yeah, even if he got found, he may have gotten lost again and sometime down that road.
Right. So. Well, I watch a lot of true crime, so I'm like, you know, I hope he got found because, you know, I don't know what the alternative is.
Yeah, it's so funny. True crime is such a popular genre, particularly with women. It's one of the most popular genres amongst women of any media, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, although it's also really cool because there's also, you know, there's like a subgenre of like true crime guys. One of my favorite podcasts is that's what it's called. It's called the True Crime Guys, and it's literally just two dudes talking about true crime, and it's so interesting.
That's awesome.
That's kind of their brand. Is like, you know, they're like, yeah, you know, like there's so much of true crime is dominated by like women podcasters, which is great. But they're like, you know, hey, guys, like
my favorite are the women that do makeup while doing a cruise trip. I know, like, I couldn't do makeup in general, but like I can't imagine like being able to tell an entire story from memory while doing makeup. That seems so hard.
Right? Jeez.
Yeah. But all right, so I think we've gotten enough of this to cut it out, and then we're taking this away as well, and it's starting to look pretty good. So one of the things I like to test on is I like to make a background color, and I like to make I call a green screen. which I don't know what other people would call it, but it's a color that you're not really using much in it, although ironically you have this color almost in your taco, but rarely do people use this color.
Right.
And so you throw it behind it, and what that will tell me right now is there any little bits of it that I missed, right? I actually cut that out pretty well. But if there was like little chunks that it wasn't that were in white, you wouldn't have seen them on white, and vice versa. If you throw it on black, you wouldn't see it either. So what I tend to do is I make 3 layers, a green one. The background was already default to white, so that solves that one. And then I make a black layer. Because what we're trying to see here is we want a design that's going to look good on all 3, right? Because you're going to potentially, well, I don't know which company you're going with for merch design. But if we go like a Teespring, which is who I go through, they offer the option to throw as many colors as you want on there. So you create a transparent object, and then you just like, I want it on blue, purple, orange, green, whatever, right? So you want a design that's going to look good on dark, it's going to look good on light, right, and anything in between.
Right.
So this kind of helps with some of that that work.
Yeah, I actually don't know who I'm going to go through. I remember Andy one time mentioned, I think he just does like Stream Elements or Streamlabs, one of those two. That's what I was gonna do, but if you have any suggestions.
So each one has their own advantage. So if you go with the same company that you are, I think Stream Elements. I don't know. It might be Stream Elements or it might be Streamlabs. I don't remember which one of it. But one of them I know you can like trigger it in with your subs, like give give advantages to your subs, like they get 10% off and things like that. So there is so something that can be integrated with Twitch has that ability. I really love Teespring. That's who I use. I'm going to stop the screen for 1 second, and I'm going to show you what my merch store looks like, and then it can give you an idea. I built Carly's merch store with her, and we used the same. So let me just go here. We're going to go to my website. We're going to click on my apparels and accessories, which then opens up a Teespring store here. And so it's got my logo on it, and then these are all the different shirts and different things that I've designed over the course of, people don't realize this, I've actually been doing the podcast for 7 years. So we have a lot of different designs, including my favorite one, which was the championship merch, because it was of a time period where we won on different things. I don't know why it's taking forever to load right now. There it is. So you can see here, I made a design, right? And it's called District of Champions. And you can actually see on my YouTube channel how I made this one. It's one of my first art streams I ever did. It's very janky, but at least you can watch me work in Photoshop. But you can see here how you can drop in different colors, right? And what's great about when you do it on Teespring, you can choose from hundreds of different apparel options. Like it can have I have pillows and wall art, and I mean even the shirt that I'm wearing right now is one that I've designed. It's one that's no longer on the store, but so mine represents so Anthony Mantha is a hockey player, and I always joke my favorite animal are rays, stingrays, manta rays, and stuff like that. So what if instead of a manta ray, which is one of my favorite animals, what happens if he was the mantha ray? And so I put his number on an outline of it, and whenever he does well, I tout the shirt and things like that. So anyway, so this is how the mantha ray came. And then if you see it, let me see if I can do a quick show of the back. You can kind of, let me see. Can you see that? Yeah. Anyway, it's got my logo and stuff like that.
Like are you showing your back, your butt?
Yeah, I know. I'm twerking on stream, which I know that you've never done on stream. So,
right. Actually, have I? I don't think I haven't twerked on stream, but I've sung Despacito before. C-Dub's the one that twerks on stream all the time now. And I remember how for a while that wasn't like a thing he was gonna do, and then now he just has it like as a point redemption.
Yeah. Oh wait, I forgot. I have a whole second camera angle. I can just use that. So you can.
So this one is. I'm writing it down.
See right here, so you can see. Is it this one?
Look into it. So this one is Spring Tees.
So.
Yeah, because I was just gonna do the what Andy had said. Although he said he can use as many stores as you want. So I think he uses more than one. But I remember one time very specifically he mentioned Stream Elements or
Right.
Streamlabs,
So it just
whichever
depends
one
on
it
whether
was.
you want to give discounts to subs and stuff like that and have it
I mean,
integrated into your
that's kind of
store
a
and
cool
stuff like that.
idea.
It is cool. I've never used it, so I can't tell you all the different ins and outs of that one. I've always used this one because it's really a great system. Now, almost all of them work the same way, but I will explain one of the advantages of Teespring is that you choose the different materials and you can choose all the different sweatshirt and
Yeah.
different options, and there's like a million different things, hoodies, tank tops, kids clothing, all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of options there, and he's right. You could throw the same design up both on Teespring and on there's not like an exclusivity deal that you're signing. It's your design.
Right.
So you could
Yeah.
have.
Ooh, hey, Davey. Davey is eating his sandwiches here.
Nice. Hopefully he's having a good sandwich
Hey, Davey.
tonight.
He probably is.
Davey, actually, I don't even know what the score is on the football game. Why don't you let us know what's going on in the Monday Night Football in chat?
I think Davey's got Davey's I don't know if he's already at TwitchCon. I know he was going this week.
He is, but I think it's a little bit later. He was at least, I believe, home today because he was all over Twitch.
Also, Ryan did remind me that I did twerk on Instagram one time.
I thought I had saw you twerk before.
I was talking about like on Twitch. This was for it was for a video. For my latest single, that's what it was, because I realized I'm like this, like you can like twerk to the song, and so that was like, God, that was just a joke.
Got it. I swear that I had seen it before, so I'm not crazy, and I do follow you on Instagram, so that's probably the answer. So by the way, I've created this pillow, which is the most comfortable pillow in the world, and it's cool that you can do it in like multiple colors and things like that. You can see that you can have the back. So there's some really cool stuff. So again, maybe you put them on both stores and you give options. I don't know. There's things like that. But anyway, I just want to give you a sense. I really love this because you can, have drop-down options here. You can, make things on mugs. You can do, stickers and iPhone cases. And Teespring, what you do is you choose which material and items you want to do, and you upload the image to it, and then you decide how much more than the base cost you want to make. So they'll charge you, the person. So let's say the t-shirt cost them $10 to make it. And then you say, I want it to go for $20 in the store. And then you would make 10. Or you could choose to make it less if you want it to be less for everybody, but you would make less, right? So you can play with some of those. But you could also have discounts. So you can have like a discount code with them. And you could give that out for certain holidays or whatever as well to lower the total cost.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
like I like that. I might check it out. Like I said, I was just, since I was gone all last week, I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this today. I haven't even thought of like
and these once we make the design, you could make it. I mean, I don't think Carly launched her store for another couple of weeks, if not a little over a month after the design came out. But it just some things to think about, while on your end, and offline, I can even walk you through how to make a store on here if you end up going this way and stuff like that. Actually, you can even watch.
Ryan's just on fire tonight.
I watched Carly. We made, I think, the store on Carly's on that stream too, so I can even go back and show you that as part of the video on there as well. Luis will twerk for singles. I wanted to read what was so funny. So,
Ryan's on fire tonight.
Yeah, Davey said that he can't believe that I can draw so well with a laptop touchpad. It's true. 20 years of just using the touchpad. This mouse is only existing for the OBS machine. Like, it's not even, for that. It's just proof with anybody. If like I Photoshop 4 to 5 hours a day, every day for my job. If you do that for 20 years, that's you get pretty used to it. So let's get back into some of the design. So I'm going to stop screen share of that, and we're going to go back to our Photoshop screen share.
Yeah, I don't think Davey was here when we were working. It was ta-da!
So there you go.
I really like it. I really like this.
So let's work on a couple of the different elements. We're going to start to zoom in really far and do some detail work. So you can see right here, like it should be cut there. So there's a couple different tools you can use. You can obviously just use an eraser tool, and you can make the size a little bit bigger. and we're going, I'm just making sure I'm erasing the right layer, and you can just cut away at it, right? So that's pretty simple. So you can take it, and we can go there, and yeah. So let's also take a look at some of these layers. So the stroke, the opacity is low, and I did that on purpose at the beginning so we can sort of guess out the lines. But now that I like where the lines are relatively, we can always adjust things later. That's why I work in layers. And you will see that I never actually take the layers and what's called flatten them down onto each other, because I like the ability to be able to, we'll save this, and if we wanted to change everything, we could grab all the layers and move them all. Instead of, if it flattens down, then you're limited. There are some advantages in the sense that you could then affect everything all at once, but I tend not to do that unless I save as, and then you could flatten it and affect everything at once. So, all right, so we're going to go to this stroke, so that's all good, and then we're going to go to this layer. This stroke, we're going to bring the opacity all the way back up, so it's be a stronger line. And then there should be one more layer. I think it was this one. Yeah. So now it's going to have a more defined lines, right? See how that looks there? And we can start to play with some of the spacing of this. So I think this rectangle, that's the back one. We should go this one. No. All right, so I like that one where it is. We're going to lock that one. So now we're going to go back here. We're going to move this one around so it's about like middle of that design. And then we're going to go, and then once we're happy with that, we're going to click this button and we're going to lock that layer down. And then the locking layer means that I won't by accidentally move it, right? And then you can always unlock it later if you didn't want to. So I think I'm going to actually end up making this.
Throw the key away.
Right, exactly. And then we're going to have this in here. So let's talk about a background behind the Fire Taco emote. You know, one option that you could, right now it's kind of a window into it. You could have something behind it. You could have a texture behind it, a color behind it. Do you have any thoughts on like what you'd like to see? I just think that will give a little bit of a punch to it. I can show you a couple of different examples of things you could do, and then we can work from there.
I'm trying to think of like what, like, you know, like missing kids milk cartons. They usually have like school pictures and stuff, right? like
Right. So you could have
like that orange looks kind of good.
Or you can actually go the opposites, right? And so you go into the blue fields, and then it gets contrast to it, right? And that gives you kind of that school look that we're talking about there. You can change the angle right here. You can also change the scale, right? So
Carly says texture, like, you know, giving it some texture.
Yeah, so you can click the texture button, and we can actually. So if you take the gradient and you lower the opacity down, and then you go to this texture option. You can actually, there's different sorts of things that you can do. So I'm just going to play around with, you can do scale and depth, right? So so it can add just a little bit of texture like that to it, you know? So it gives it kind of a cool effect there. One other thing we can do to this taco is we can add a stroke to it, and we can add some effects to the taco as well. So we can...
oh, I like that.
Yeah, so we're going to lower it a little bit. It's a little too much, and we're going to change the opacity a little bit so it's not fully dark. It's a little more see-through, but you still get some of that. But you can also add some pretty cool stuff. So let's add a drop shadow to it. So that's down here. And you can spread that and add some size to this and up the opacity of that. And now it looks like the taco's 3D. Do you see that? It looks like the taco's popping out at you, right?
Oh my gosh, Robbie.
So
that's great.
You can even add a little bit of a glow to counter the shadow, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we go to an outer glow, and we add a little bit of noise and a little bit of color to it. So now it's got a little, it's hard to see a little bit, but it's got a kind of a glow effect to it as well as the shadow. So you can kind of see it when you get a little bit more zoomed in, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of gives it just a little bit more interest, and then the texture is also a little bit more interesting, right? And so it's just, and then I'm going to take the whole thing, I'm going to shrink it just a teeny bit so it more fits within. So I'm holding down the shift button so that way we keep it scaled. And then I think we're going to take this rectangle and we're actually going to square it off just a little bit like that.
Got some fun chat going on. David's like, imagine if you could buy actual milk cartons with this on it. Throw it up on the fridge just to throw it at people. And then Andy says, take it on Shark Tank. I haven't watched that show in forever. I used to love watching that show.
I know. I love Shark Tank.
I got tired of it after a while. I was like, it's always the same.
They've changed a lot. If you haven't watched it in a while, yeah, they have a lot of guest sharks now, which I think kind of makes it more interesting.
It's been quite a while since I've seen it.
So I'm gonna make this a little bit tighter and a little larger as well, just to try to fill this space a little bit. All right. Yeah, so that's starting to come together pretty well. So I'm gonna try to warp some things now. So this is the rectangle. So it starts as a rectangle, but now we can what's called rasterize the layer. So what that's gonna do, well, first of all, sorry, I'm gonna why did that work? Rasterize? Should work. Do I have to convert it to? Hold on. Hold on. Don't duplicate layer. Nope. Convert to frame. Quick export the PNG. Nope. I want to make it. Rasterize layer. It should have worked. I'm not sure. Oh, because it's locked. Maybe it won't do it. Let's try it when I unlock it. Aha! So what that does is it takes all the different elements of it, and then it was a rectangle. It's now no longer a rectangle. Well, it is still, but like I can now take it, and I can take a transform tool, and I can use a warp on it, and I can start to warp it. So it's because the box isn't actually a perfect circle or a perfect square. See how it's got some elements to it like that, right? And so we're going to play around with this, and then I'm going to Photoshop out the parts that we don't like that are behind it that we're going to start to now see peeking through. All right, so I think that looks a little bit more believable. See, it's not a perfect rectangle, but it actually looks, because, you know, it's not actually a perfect rectangle.
No, it looks like it's a part of it.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into this, and I'm going to take this, and we're going to, there's a bunch of different tools I talked about. We're going to use the magic wand tool this time. See, that's going to grab everything that's gray on that side. And I'm going to add the shift button. I'm going to select that, and it's going to hopefully cut all of, all right, but I don't want any of this, so I'm going to undo that. So that should cut out that little extra over there, and then this is why we put it on green, right? So you can see these little detail things. See, and then I can just use the eraser tool. Because I could sit there and erase away at the whole thing, but it just takes a lot of time. And so these little tricks can help speed it up a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build out this side of the box, and we're going to put an overlay on that so we can add like maybe a texture and a background to there. So let's take a look. So I'm going to take this rectangle, we're going to work on warping it just a little bit more. So edit, transform again. We're going to go to a warp, and we're going to bring this corner up a little bit, this up a little bit, and that looks like it's now setting more into there. And then I want to check this upper corner one more time. So we go to edit, transform again. So the transform tools are really cool. You can do a lot of pretty cool effects with it. Oops, I'm transforming the wrong layer. Gotta make sure you transform the right one. All right, click on it, click transform. We're going to warp it again. I'm going to grab this corner. I'm going to really get it right in that spot. All right. So we can decision making time. Do you like
Mhm.
this little back part here, or do you want me to recreate it from scratch? I think it's fine. It's going to look a little
Yeah,
different than this, but if you really want it to look all line arty, we can try to draw that part too. What are your thoughts?
I honestly kind of like it.
Okay.
Because it just
It
I don't
gives
know,
it looks a little
it looks
cartoony, but it's going to
natural.
look a little
Hmm.
cartoony, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah. All right. So if that's the case, but let's work on cleaning up the edges then, right? So my favorite tool in Photoshop is called the smudge tool. I use it more than any other tool. I probably shouldn't. Like, I think that most people who paint on Photoshop use the paintbrush tool, and they actually paint with colors. I am very lazy, and I don't like using that. So I love this tool, and you're about to see why. Because what you do is you take an element, right? Oh, that's too big. Well, let me turn on this. The size is too big here. But, oh, oops. I actually used the paintbrush tool by accident. All right, so here we go. So we're going to grab elements from this right here. So I'm grabbing this background layer, and I'm grabbing this tool, and we're going to make it a little bit larger. And I'm going to take it, and we're going to basically erase away the parts we don't want, so that all you see is that line down there, right? This is why it's nice to have multiple layers, because then you can just sort of hide it behind it, right? See how that line looks a lot smoother now? So now I think we can take it and we can actually, I'm trying to decide whether I want or not. Do you want a bold black line to be around the whole thing? If so, what you could do is I can take this. Oh, that's a stroke. All right, well, I'm going to do exactly what I say I never do, but I'm going to actually draw using the paintbrush tool. And we're going to mimic this. So if I click a spot, I hold down the shift button, and I click another spot, it will draw a straight line between those 2 points, right? And so then if I click that spot and I come up, see, it'll make another straight line, right? And you can keep on going. So I'm going to redo this
Yeah, I would say definitely, because I feel like that gives it more of a border.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to go all the way up to here, there. Yep. And I'm going to follow our, oopsies. That's where it's detail work.
There we go. I'm like, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
You got to trace it.
Yeah. This is the part where it's kind of amazing that I can do this all with 2 fingers on a trackpad. Because most people think that that's kind of crazy. All right, so now that we have that over it, I can take the eraser tool. I can try to skim along it the other way, again holding the shift button, and just cut away at the
line.
extra. Yeah.
They seem very animated for you to draw that line. I think, honestly, I think this is really cool. I've always really enjoyed like Photoshop. It's been years since I've used it, but I mean, like, there's so much you can do with it.
That looks so clean, though, right? I think that gives it a much more clean line. Looks like it's part of the same thing, right? So we can continue around. I actually don't need to draw it around the whole thing. Because watch, I'll go here and I'll click on this. And I'm going to add a stroke to the whole thing. We'll add some size.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Simple.
So we're going to do that. And now it shows where all the imperfections are in our design. So there's actually pixels here, which we never saw before because they were pretty small. And so we can just click and delete those away. There was some there. There was some here. And I'll still go back and draw some parts of it, but I don't have to draw it all now, right? Because look, that line's now done for me, right? I don't have to do that line. And now we can go through with the eraser, and we can erase away enough that it will look believable. All right, so let's go back to this. So, oops. All right, let me make sure we have the right layer. So this layer is what we're working on. Okay. So we go back to the eraser tool. Again, the more you zoom in, the easier it gets. So figure out why this. There you go. So, and then you could also do it a different way. So if I grab this one, which is called the lasso tool, and I want to grab all of this area, we've already drawn that line. You could, oops. Or I'm actually going to use a rectangle tool because it's pretty straightforward. We already drew that line, so I don't need a double line there. And the same thing with this one over here. We can go through. So you can, the thing is with Photoshop, there's like 8 different ways that you can do anything. So this one is a different type of lasso. This one is called a polygon lasso. So you click on it and you can draw a polygon shape, right? And I can double click and delete, right? And so I can do the same thing going up the side here. Oops. So, and then once we get it to somewhat close again, then I can again take the smudge tool, go to the bottom, say, hey, this part got undone, right? So you can, and if you do it, hold down the shift button and scroll all the way to the top, you can draw a long line, right? And if it's a little thicker in some places and a little less in others, it doesn't, it'll still read right. I don't think people are going to be like measuring our line and be like, oh my God, it's a little thicker over there. So
again, as long as Kenneth or his family don't find it.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, you couldn't
even tell, right?
At this point, yeah. I mean, Kenneth's grandchildren or great grandchildren, whoever's around, I don't think they could tell.
Exactly. So let's go back to this toy here. So I'm going to take this one. We're going to draw a line. We're going to cut some of this extra junk out. There we go. So it's getting pretty good. So we're going to go up here. We're going to add some, a little bit of detail to some of these edges. But now I've got kind of a line that I can mimic a little bit. So once I take this rectangle, it's this one.
Well, and even if we, because earlier we were saying about doing some of the inside borders and where the crevices are, like even if we didn't, I think that looks really good.
Yeah,
it just kind of stands out. Like we don't have to do like the little whatever it's called, little foldy part.
Right. I'm going to leave the foldy part altogether. So,
yeah.
And I think that no one's going to really know the difference. Part of me wonder. I don't know. Debating whether or not we have any border at the top. I know we do everywhere else.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we leave the border like on the top part, just not on like the inner
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm just using the smudge tool to cut away at certain parts and add in little parts there, and this is sort of the detail work, which is fun for some people to watch, and not for others, but it is what it is. All right, so this part's jacked up, so let me draw all the straight lines here and clean up that.
Hey, Reggie. Sorry, one of my cats was hiding in here. I gotta let him out of the room. He probably needs to go use his litter box.
Yeah, go for it.
One of my cats got trapped. You want to come up here, bud? He's never actually seen you yet. He's never been on my stream before. Oh, buddy. Oh.
I love cats.
He does not want to be on camera.
He's like, get me that guy out of here.
Yeah, let me go. Oh, nope, he just went back under. He was hiding under a piece of furniture.
That's funny.
That's Reggie. That's our newest guy. We've had him in July, I think. Yeah, so he's been with us for a couple of months, and he is a sweet guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's starting to look good. It's got a little bit darker shadow on that side, but I think it adds a little bit of 3D depth to it, so I'm okay if it's not the same
Yeah.
exact thickness all the way through,
Yeah.
right? You
That's
know?
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like it would be a step too much if we, did all the inner crevices and stuff.
I agree.
This kind of like really makes it jump out.
Mm-hmm. And what's good about it having a border to it is it starts to look good on different
Mm-hmm.
colors, right? So it's gonna pop
Mm-hmm.
on white, or a lighter, colored
Yeah.
shirt design, a medium colored, which you could. What's cool about this? Once you have a color layer on it, you can do what's called a color overlay, and then you could see what it looks like on a ton of different colors, right? So
yeah.
out, right?
Oh, my mom just joined the chat. Too,
oh, well, welcome.
So we gotta behave.
Okay.
Just kidding. See, the only thing is with black, it's not really gonna stand out, but I mean,
it actually does more than you think.
It's
because the white part still will.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because it kind of looks 3 like it really looks 3D.
Yeah.
You're right. It looks like it's really popping out.
Yeah. So let's take everything that we've done so far. First of all, let's save it. That's always good.
Right.
And we're going to take all the different layers we've created so far, and we're going to create a folder.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can make it a pop-up and not. And then I take the whole entire folder, and we're going to
wow. I would totally wear that on black.
Yeah, and now I can take the whole...
I feel like I absolutely would. That's really cool.
Oh, wait, there's locked layers inside of this, so hold on, let me unlock all of them. So, that's one locked layer. And let's just see. Now...
Curly says it looks awesome. I agree. Like,
yeah,
this looks really cool. Like I said, I would totally... Because, I mean, I'm trying to diversify my wardrobe a little bit. I do wear a lot of black, and I realized that about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying not to buy like T-shirts and stuff that are black. But I mean, I would 100% buy this on black.
So I'm going to take this. I'm going to hold down the shift button, and we're going to shrink it just a little bit. So that way, it's kind of a little bit more centered within the frame. So that way, stuff like that. And the thing is, when I give it to you, what I would do is I'd give it to you with what's called a transparent background, which looks like that.
Oh yeah.
And then it become a transparent, image, and then I'll send it to you, obviously, as a JPEG in a certain different colors as well. What's kind of fun with it is if you wanted to, I mean, let me just move it. Oops. Let me move the whole thing. See, now that it's grouped into a layer, I can take the whole layer and I can take it and move it if it will let me. So now we can put it sort of more centered, right? So now I can play with that. And so I think that's pretty centered. So we can find out by doing it this way. So I don't know why it's not. It's snapping. I would like it not to do that. Okay. I'm trying to get just a general sense that it's pretty centered. Yeah, those lines aren't exactly on the centers, but like at least it gives me a sense. So anyway, more centered than it was for sure. So anyway, so that's something cool. I wanted to show you something that's kind of fun. Let's just save this as one thing, and then I'm going to save as. And then we can really kind of mess with it. 'Cause I think the design's kind of done, right? And I think we could, do we? I don't mind the simple font. Unless there's a font that you specifically want us to go with. I mean, I think it's easy to read, but we can try different fonts.
I think that font is fine. Like I'm trying to think of like missing people's posters. Like they don't use like fancy font.
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, we could look up what the font is called for the Got Milk ads, but that looks honestly that looks about right.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It doesn't have to also.
I feel like design wise, I mean, the whole purpose of those ads always like design wise was not to, it was just simple. It wasn't like overly complicated. Just get a bunch of famous people to drink milk, and that was it.
Right. Let me file save as for a second. I just want to show you something kind of fun.
Hey, Reg.
So got tacos animated. So if we wanted to make an animated GIF out of this, you could take the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we wanted to make an emote out of this, for example, you could.
It would just be really small as an email. You could totally do that.
Yeah, but you could also watch this. This is kind of funny. We can just sort of play around with it, but let's bring back our animation thing that we said we wouldn't use today. And I can create a frame-by-frame animation, and you could make it appear in a different direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you took everything and moved it, oops. Oh, auto select is on. That's my problem. So if you were have an off frame here, and then we swap these layers, we make it for 0.1 seconds, and then I make a motion tween between them, then you can make a. Hold on, I need to make it stop on the last frame. Hold on. 5 seconds. Perfect. And you can make it come on in. Got tacos. So, there's, fun things you could do with that. You could, you could make the taco appear over time. So there's like a million things. So, like, for example, if you wanted to, let me go back to swapping these out and bring it here. And let's just say that this layer has 0 opacity, right? And then I take the whole entire thing again. And I move it out, and now I swap it, and I added an animation to it. You can watch the taco appear over time.
Mm.
So, there's things that you could do with this, which is kind of fun. Just got tacos. See how the taco appears inside of the taco?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm going to save that. Just why not? All right. So that looks pretty good. Do you still want to do the other one as well?
We can if you have time.
I'm in quarantine. I'm not doing anything.
Sure.
So
Let's do it. Let's do it then.
Let's do it. All right. So, all right. Let's. Oh, you know what would be kind of fun? Do you have a guitar set up that you could play a song? Or would it be hard?
I mean, I could. I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, it's fine. Some of the other people had done musical spots, so I wanted to at least give you an opportunity if you wanted to.
I was like, I mean, no, I would. I don't have my guitar's not set up. I would have to take it out and set it up.
Got it. Okay, no problem. All right, so So music around the world, one taco at a time. I had an idea for this one, so I don't know if you if you had a specific idea, whatever.
I am all ears.
Okay, so I like it sometimes when lettering's around a circle, right? So I could show you what happens if this text was, in a circle around a world, and inside the world was a taco.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'll show you what I have, and then if you hate it, we don't have to do it. So
I think a circle is a great idea.
Yeah. So if you hold down the shift button on an ellipse, you can draw a circle. Right. That's pretty basic. So we're just going to use this as our basic model right here, and then I believe I have to remember how you do this. It's been a little while since I've written circular text. It's not something I do a whole lot. But I know there's a way to create a. Where is the tool? It was where you can draw along an edge with text. Horizontal, vertical. Nope, it's neither of those. Can you only do it in Illustrator now? Hold on. I know I've done it in Illustrator. The question is, can I do it in Photoshop?
Just taking a picture of Reggie, telling my wife, I'm like, he's here with me because you're looking for him.
path selection tool. I'm adding paths to this. How do I write on the path? Aha! Figured it out. Click on it.
Oh, ooh, that looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now that I've created that, now we're going to hide this layer for a second. I'm going to cut that text out. We're going to make it reappear. And there we go. And then the bigger we make it, the more it should go around the circle. And we play around with this. We're going to make the text a little bit tighter. Make the font a little bit bigger. And now that we've got it written around, we take everything and we shrink it.
Mm-hmm. You probably want to, I don't know whether there's a question mark next to time.
Got it. Okay. You want an exclamation point? I think I literally copied it from what you sent me, so that's why. Yeah.
I think because I think I was like, what do you think about this?
And yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think an exclamation point is good. But yeah, I was like, question mark looks a little off.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. Trying to decide whether or not I want.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like the angle. I mean I like where it starts.
Mm-hmm. Just making sure that you can read it one taco at a time as upside down.
Right.
So that's the part that I don't.
Right. And then, like, do you really want people staring at you at Walmart? Like, what does your shirt say?
Right. Or maybe you do. And maybe people will be like, it's merch.
Right. Why don't, I don't know if you can do this. So maybe like on the top, music around the world, and then on the bottom, but not upside down.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if that might be easier. Yeah, because I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah, I could just picture like old ladies at Walmart, like, huh? What does your shirt say, young man?
So I'm trying to remember how to do that.
Ryan says, "Is this supposed to be a question? I think it should be a statement." I think he was reacting to before we changed it from a question to an exclamation. Yeah, so if it's possible to have like the one taco at a time, like on the bottom,
but
part, I think that would make sense.
I have to remember
like the bottom part of the circle.
Right, but then I have to flip it around, so I have to figure out how to do that.
Oh, I see.
Right, because now it needs to go the other way around that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think for a second. All right.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be there
is a way.
There's got to be a way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but I have to figure it out. that's the key.
Yeah. Like, Arc lower. No. Nope. There you go. Kind of like that, but not as warped.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a track.
I don't think that is.
Robbie, actually, you know what? Ryan says, "Have you tried typing it backwards?" You could. It would. I don't know if that would work. Go back out. I think he's ready to go out to the living room. I'll be right back. Let me
get
this cat. right. Now, that is a fancy design. And then Andy says, make it a Mobius strip.
What?
I'm not sure exactly what that means.
I actually have another idea.
Okay.
Might be easier. What happens if the one taco at a time goes around the taco inside of the globe? Because they kind of look like tacos.
Okay, I think I see what you mean. Like kind of like an inner layer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ooh. That's a really good idea. Yeah, and then just maybe make the one taco at a time a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and then set it inside
so it
of
fits in. That's a great idea. That is a really brilliant idea. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Right. So there you go. Yeah. Work hard, not smart, right?
Right.
All right. So you have the fire taco that we've used. You have other tacos, or is that the only taco graphic that you have?
I do have another one. I have. Let me see.
I mean, I could use the fire taco again if that's what you want, but I just was an option too.
Well, it would be nice to vary it up a little bit.
I'm gonna look for different Planet Earths real quickly while you do that.
Oh, look, this might work. I have a dancing taco. That would probably work.
Okay.
Yeah, dancing taco. Let's see. So but that one's really small, and I got that one out of Canva. Like I made that one out of Canva.
Mm-hmm. Just so people know, I'm looking at pictures of the globe. It's not very exciting. I'm not gonna undo our screen share just so you can see pictures of the globe. People know what our planet looks like.
Hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. So drawings.
Oh, I do have the. That's right. Carly brings a really good point. I do have that heart emote. But I don't know if you can actually pull it out from there. Yeah, all of these are like a smaller size.
It's fine. I'll take the fire emote and we'll just affect the heck out of it so it won't look the same.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, I mean, if it's not the worst thing, if it if it looks similar.
Yeah. Or either way.
Mm-hmm.
Why am
That's right. I do have the mod taco, but actually, I don't know where I have that one. It's not saved on my computer. I think I had it in my download, and then I just deleted it after a while. Let's see if I can go find it.
Copy. Image.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this one. We got the mod one as well.
see if I can grab the. Reopen up our last design. Okay, we got. Is that the layer? Yep. So we're gonna open this up here. We're gonna click and drag it over here. We're gonna take it. We're gonna make it a lot larger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what? I have an idea too.
Goes inside.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, we'll see. So this thing here. Once we have it, I'm gonna rasterize this type. Music around the world. Do we want it to be like a title where around and world are capitalized, or do you like it where it's like a sentence?
Yeah, I don't think we need to capitalize world. I think just like that, it's fine.
That's fine. Okay. So, because once we rasterize it, I'm not going to be able to change it. So what I like to do is I'm going to take the whole layer. We're going to duplicate it. So that way, if we want to go back to it, we can. And then we're going to hide that duplicated layer. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take this layer, and we're going to rasterize it. Oh, you can warp the text from here. Hold on. Too much.
Oh yeah, it looks really trippy like that. Like it's like like Jello.
Yeah, it's not doing
Just
what
make
I
sure
wanted
the taco doesn't burn the world. That's a yes.
Sure.
Let's hope not.
Wow.
Although the world's already on fire anyway, so.
This could be political commentary and a shirt.
I know. Well, I mean, I work for an environmental organization, so that's literally like what I talk about all day. So I just try to keep it out of Twitch just because, I don't want to get in arguments with people.
Luckily, it's Twitch late night right now. Mostly our friends in chat.
Yeah.
So, so that looks pretty cool, like that. Music around the world. And then I actually have a different idea. I liked our original idea, but I'm going to take it away. And I think it could just honestly be a straight line down here.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So I'm doing some fiddling, some holding down the shift button and moving directional arrows, and that's going to get me like pixel by pixel movement, right? So I can like shift it till I like it. Yeah. So I am going to take it. We're going to add some bold to this, one taco at a time. Get very excited about it, and then I think it should be kind of like maybe bring out some of these orange colors from some of the flame,
Yeah.
And then we could take the oops, do that. Go away. We'll go back to the one taco or the music around the world. Where is that? That is over here. So we can take this, and we're going to do a color overlay, and I think we should bring in some of the cool colors of that. We're also going to add a stroke around it, so it makes it pop a little bit, but with a lower opacity.
What if somebody gets a blue?
Right, there you go. Now it's got a line around it.
That's great.
And then you can add some more effects. We're going to do some of this outer glow. We can add a drop shadow to it. We can...
Good night, Carly. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Carly's back.
Carly's back tomorrow.
Yeah, woo. I'll look forward to modding you tomorrow, Carly.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just look forward to being there. No work.
No work for you.
Just there. Just there.
All right, we're going to copy that layer style. We're going to go back to one taco at a time. We're going to add all the same layer effects to it, but I'm going to take away the color overlay. Or, you know what? I'm actually going to add a color overlay, but it's going to be, we're going to add it as a orange. Do you want a color overlay? Actually, you know what? I'm going to try a gradient overlay. We're going to go to our gradient colors, and we're going to still go the oranges, but this thing is going to give us a little bit of some flair to it, right? So that way, I'm going to change the angle, though, so that way it comes out at an angle.
How long would it take to eat that line of tacos standing over 3,000 miles? Davey wants to know.
Do
I
you
don't
like it
know.
going from one color to another? That's one option. You can also
Yeah.
change it to like a radial. Is that a radial gradient? Or, no, that's not the right one. There is angle gradients, which will make like an angle at it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I kind of like to like when it looked like a I don't know what I'm doing this like it looked like a flame.
Yes.
Like it had that fire effect.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get that.
Like I said, we're just assuming the taco is burning the world. That's what's happening.
So that can go. See how it goes from like yellow to red at the top. Do you see what that looks like right there?
Yeah, yeah. I like that gradient. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, right? And then one thing I was thinking about doing, since I stole that image, is let's filter gallery it, which is when you take an image, oops, and we're going to add a special effect to it. Actually, hold on, cancel that. We're going to choose our own. So you go over to here, and we're going to, you can add these different effects to it, but if you go to the gallery, it should bring up, let me see if this works. Aha! See how I just affected it a little bit? So that way it looks more cartoony. See, that's what it looked like before, right? Can you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So we can also
go. This one's being well received.
Nice.
So Ryan wants to know, what about using two different fonts, like one for the top and one for the bottom?
Oh, that could be kind of cool. We can start to play with fonts. Let me get this filter right.
I don't think it would look too disjointed. I think it would look great.
Yeah, I think it could look really cool. We'll play with that in a second. Is it this button? Yeah, here we go. All right, this is going to use a lot of render. So anyone was curious why I run this on two computers, this is going to answer why. So, because now I'm rendering, but it's not taking away from the OBS, which would have brought it to its knees, right? So I Photoshop on one, I screen share it to the other. Doesn't affect our conversation while we're waiting for it to try to figure itself out, right? So I'm going to scale it down so that way you can see it. So you can add a film grain to things. You could posterize the edges to it. You can...
I kind of like there's a way we could give it texture. Like, I don't know if you've seen those maps that have like gosh, we're thinking of the word. Like really texturized topography of like mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this image lends itself to that, but
it probably does.
Or I mean, even like that, like that's cool. Like the clouds look really, really great.
Yeah, I'm just
that really makes it pop out.
Yeah, this one's kind of cool. Let me try this one real quick. This one gives it a colored pencil look. It looks like someone drew it with a colored pencil. It's affecting it too much, though. But what's cool is on the left side here.
It looks like the world's underwater in this one.
So you can choose the pencil width, the stroke pressure, and stuff like that. Let's try. There's also like underpainting, and there's watercolors. You can start to see that there's like a ton of different effects that you can do. Let's do underpainting.
Yeah, I like the one you had before this that it just like really, really highlighted the clouds. Because it just, I don't know, really made it look like very 3D.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Davey wants you to know that the Niners won. I don't know if that's something you were following.
Okay.
24-9 is what Tina says.
Oh,
wow, that's a pretty.
I think was it this one? Was it the cutout? Does that look right to what you liked?
Yeah. There was no, I don't think it was this one. It was the one you did right before the pencil one, but okay,
let's just see. This is the dry brush.
I couldn't tell you which one it is.
That's fine. This is the dry brush. It adds some effect to it. And then I just wanted to also show you, there's so many like crazy things that you could do. We're probably not going to do any of this, but I just wanted to give you a sense. Like you could do what's called a charcoal relief drawing, right? And then we could do a color overlay on that. So, some of these are, that's not a good one, but hold on. There's also these ones right here, which is a diffused glow. This one makes it look like stained glass if you do it right. Why isn't it
I
working?
would do like stained glass. That's cool.
That's an ocean ripple, ironically enough. This is the glass, but there should be more distortion to it. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up the distortion and scaling. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Anyway, there's also what's called accented edges. It's kind of a cool angled strokes. Gives it a you can do like a cross hatch. So I mean, these are different drawing techniques.
What about that one that says ink outlines? I feel like that would be.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
it's gonna be like. Oh, I think it should make it like almost neon. I don't know why is that not doing anything. There's some really crazy ones too. Like this is glowing edges, which doesn't really do much for this. This makes it dark, but for some things it like really makes some really cool stuff. Ah, here's where the stained glass was. This is what I was looking for before. See how it starts to make it stained glass?
Yeah. Ooh, that one looks kind of cool. Like the.
Yeah, it looks like it's a
pixelated.
mosaic. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like that because it kind of goes with the cartoony vibe.
Yeah, look
of
what it looks
the
like with
other
the
one. Oh, see, like that looks really cool. Yeah.
You know what's really kind of cool is if you took this one and should be able to do the same filter effect. Then they're both the same. See how it takes the
right. And then it just looks like a fancy mosaic painting.
Right.
I really like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of cool. Let's try to play around with font. So unfortunately, this one up here, we can go back and change it if we really want to. But the top text has kind of been set because I warped it. Right. But this bottom one, we could change the font of that one. So let's take a look at these are the fonts I have pre-installed on this computer. Don't have a ton, but there's a place called DaFont that's got 50,000 fonts. So we could download anything that you would your heart's desire.
I'm trying to think what would be like a good looking font. Like I don't know. I'm a fan of like simple fonts. Like I'm not a fan of like like some people love like super intricate stuff. Like see like that that's really hard. That one's kind of hard to read.
Yeah.
It
was more of like an idea of like graffiti,
Yeah. No, I like the idea of graffiti. It's just that's a little hard.
Yeah. No, well, I think what you would do is you would try to take off some of the. You could maybe take off some of the effects.
Yeah, like a graffiti stuff would look really cool. See that's a lot more legible.
Right. Yeah. So I wouldn't use it with all the effects if we're going to go that way. And you could even once you affect it.
Ryan says we should look at all 50,000 just to be certain. I mean, you know what, Ryan? If you want to have your own stream at 3 in the morning, go ahead and do it, or stay up until tomorrow. That's fine. I eventually need to sleep.
We got to be awake for Carly's stream tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Another option is like handwritten. So like if you look at like I don't know if I sent you my. I'm gonna send you this, but you've probably seen it like somewhere because I've shared it. But like the cover art for my EP that is going to be available for pre-save on Thursday.
Nice.
I just didn't want to make a big deal out of it tonight because that's not what we're doing here tonight.
No, you can plug whatever the hell you want to plug. It's your stream. Hold on, I just wanted to show you really quickly one cool thing you could do with this.
Let me see if I can find it.
So if we rasterize this type.
There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna send it to you through Discord, and like it's kind of like a cursive, um, kind of like hand. I don't know if that would go well with a T-shirt, but kind of like handwritten would look good. Although I like where this is going. See, that is so much more legible than how it was before.
Mm-hmm. So we could grab different ones of the colors. See what I'm doing here? Where I'm grabbing different colors from the taco.
Right.
And putting it into the letters.
And then like we're missing a red from the tomato, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You got almost all of it.
The problem is like the red with the red of this is hard because the red's kind of inflexed into it. So that's why I wasn't. But one thing we could do is we could start to grab ones from the world too. So add a, and then go with the darkest color. So it's kind of like a
super dark green. Ooh, yeah, that one contrasts really good. Let's see.
Right. So
I think totally missed Davey was leaving a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry we missed you, Davey, but I appreciate you joining us. But so once you do that, and then you could add a effect to it. We could add a drop shadow to it with a bit of an outer glow. It's kind of cool. So I mean,
I like that. And looking at this, I'm wondering if we should keep the music around the world like the font it is right now, or if we should just go with the whole graffiti theme.
I kind of like because it's kind of two different parts of the message. I don't mind it being different. I think that
right.
I think it's gonna be too much and overpower the design of it. See, I think the music around the world becomes an element, and then one taco at a time becomes a different thing.
Taco at a time kind of stands out. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was just like, should we keep it or leave it? But no, you make a really, really great point.
I'm gonna move the taco slightly closer this way, just to give it a little bit more room, and then I'm gonna take everything, all the layers. I'm gonna transform it just a little bit. We're gonna bring everything in. All right, now we do our test to see what it looks like on different colors, right? Because that's always an important part of this step. So let's just see what it looks like.
So like what I like about the one taco at a time. Sorry, I'm just still kind of hyper focused on it, but like the colors look very festive, and I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I was trying to bring some of the coloring of the taco and the globe into it a little bit. And it looks pretty good on black. You know, you lose the stroke around the music of the world, but still it pops because of the blue internal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it still does. And like the world and the tacos still really jump out.
Right. I want to try it like on a purple, you know, like some sort of neutral-ish color, just to see what that's gonna look like.
It's like a Twitch purple, maybe. That's kind of what that is. Yeah. See, even with that, like I don't really wear purple, but like that looks cool.
Yeah.
That's like a bluish purple.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
I do too.
It's amazing how fast they can come together, right? Like, and I think I like it better than the circle trying to reverse it. I think that way, because originally I was going to make the taco inset into it, almost like a Batman logo. That was my original envision with everything around it.
That would have looked cool too.
Well, what's funny is watch this.
That can be the second edition of the T-shirt.
Well, watch this. Or what's great about doing it in Photoshop is we can save it at this one, and then we can save as. We can do music around the world, one taco at a time, version 2. I do this all the time. So when you're a graphic designer and you're designing a logo for something, which we're not doing today, but it's kind of in some ways similar, I tend to create 4 different variations on a design. Simple things where I'm just shifting the fonts around, the colors around, the objects in space and size. And then I talk to the person I'm working with. This is if you had a lot more than an hour to do. But,
Right.
you would give them 4 options and say, what elements do you like of each of these? Which ones do you not like about it? Then you grab all the elements that they like and then take away the elements that they don't. You then refine it to 4 new ideas using all that information. And you keep doing that, coming up with 4 ideas all the way until it's like, that's the one of the 4. Right? So you refine it, in my mind, 4 at a time. That's what I used to teach a graphic design class, and that's what I always told my students to do. Is a logo is designed 4 different concepts, as different as you can make them. We talk about it as a crit, as a class every Friday. We talk about the parts we like and the parts we don't like. They come back with 4 new designs that they make during the next week. They bring that to the class, and we go through that process 3 or 4 times until the person's really happy with it. So this is version 2, and with that you could take everything. We could go back and we can oops, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. We wanted to do the.
I forgot we had that second sentence or whatever.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So we now take this one away, just temporarily. We take this one here. We're going to make it not that. We're going to make it something. No, that's too industrial. Let's do something simple.
I like Ryan's handwriting idea. Obviously not Comic Sans because everybody hates it.
Right. Let's see.
How there's all the jokes of people that do ads and stuff.
Yeah.
Billboards with Comic Sans, and it's like, come on, or even try.
I can't even. I've probably used Comic Sans a handful of times my entire life. Here, this is kind of cool.
But yeah, like the handwriting or like cursive. I still like the graffiti better, but that looks cool too.
But let's play around with the idea I had about the inversion of this.
Right, like the bat. I mean, I'm a big Batman fan myself, so.
So I mean, this is pretty simple. All you have to do is add a color overlay to it. And we can darken the whole thing, so you can still sort of faintly see it, but it's not as bright, right? And then take this, we make it larger. And then I add a stroke to it.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, good night, Tina. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Tina.
French is leaving. Thank you for coming and hanging out.
Yeah. Alright, sort of an outer glow. Let's do an inner glow. There we go. We're going to size that up. Put some noise and some opacity up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's upping the glow factor to make it sort of pop out of it. It's kind of interesting. It's very different than the other one.
Yeah.
Let me do one other thing to it. Let's add more intensity to the drop shadow.
That does kind of remind me of the bat signal. Yeah. I really like them both.
Well, I'll give you both. People can.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I could have both. If you want to, people want to choose a version A and version B, but I like both
See,
of
now
them.
this one, see how I added a lot of effecting to the drop shadow, so it really makes it sort of look like a. I kind of like it though. It's cool, and it looks good on different.
I like
colors.
it too. I like both of them a lot. You know, and like right, Ryan's like, "Por qué no los dos?" Like the Pace commercials.
Right. Exactly.
That's very true.
Yeah.
You know, and I was also thinking because you know, like the taco was designed by Engraver Gamer, who is a good friend and very early supporter of my channel, and
you know, Engraver Gamer was
part
of.
I think this is cool. Yeah,
and he did a real. I think he was part of this big raid train that was yesterday, right?
He was one of the main, or it's all weekend, I think. He was one of the main organizers.
You know, they raised over 2.2 thousand euro or pounds.
Wow, really? I'm in that Discord, but I just unfortunately, because of driving and traveling, I just kind of ignored it.
Yeah, I
did see it was still going on today.
I had COVID. Yeah, well, the last one was, how do you pronounce his name? It's 150. 150? No, it's OG 1.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah. I thought
he ended it with a 5 or 6 hour stream where he just was playing FIFA, but like that's I checked in on it. It was like it was over 2.2 thousand when I last left. So yeah, I felt bad because I had COVID, so I completely forgot about it because I was supposed to mod for Josh, but it was also the same time as the Commanders game, and I woke up and it was I slept for 13 hours and I woke up and it was 1:30, and so I was already late to watching the game, so I completely forgot that I was going to do 2 things at once.
Yeah, I'm sure Josh knows that you're sick.
Yeah, it's fine. But then later on, KR
we've all met Josh. He's like the nicest guy in the world. He's never gonna get mad.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine Josh getting angry. Like
yeah, I've never seen it.
Imagine it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has.
So yeah, and then KR was part of it as well, and so then so I was able to actually
some really cool people.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, like he just like one day was like, "Hey, can I make you some emails?" And I was like, he just like asked and made them, and he made this one. He made like the heart one, and then he made the little thing I have like on the corner that says like "Welcome to the Taco Squad," which I need to re-add because I was moving some stuff around today and accidentally deleted it. But I just think this is cool because it's still his design. But then it's also your design at the same time. Like,
it's so I'm good friends with.
It feels extra special,
right? Yeah, and I'm good friends with Engraver from from Josh's stream actually. Yeah, we spent a lot of time together in his stream. So
yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I think it's really kind of cool.
I like it. I don't know which one I like more, to be honest. Like both of those. Both like the taco under the world and then like, you know, I guess we're calling this bat signal. Like I like both of them a lot.
Yeah. And I think that I'm happy that we affected them the same way in the sense they're both become sort of that mosaic style, so that way it seems more cohesive versus just like a cartoon taco and a realistic picture of the world, you know?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But it still looks like it's popping out of it. It looks like it was cut out of it, but popping out of it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. It looks like it's flying over it.
Right.
Like remember what was it?
It's like a UFO. It's like a UFO taco.
Right. Exactly. Of like the spaceship like flying towards Earth. That's what this looks like, but like in a good way. Right.
I should make an animation of it beaming up the taco, you know, like
right.
Pretty good.
Hey, that would be cool. Just go for it. I'll do that. I'll add that as an email. Just go for it. If you know, now that you're quarantining and have all this time,
I have all the time in the world.
Feel free to do that.
How many animated slots do you have? Do you have an open one?
I can probably. So I have like one slot that I can shift.
Yeah.
Like I know I did one for. I think I still have like the No Kid Hungry on there.
I know who created that one.
Right, I know you made it. Right, it's just you'd just be replacing. You would just be replacing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
we should do it where like the taco just
when it comes to
flips
animators,
in.
just shift them.
Yeah.
like flips into the earth, or
Yes, like it just like
that would be kind of cool. Like just like, I mean, an emote is tiny, right? Nobody's gonna see this detail, but
right.
it would look kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, really, when it's an emote, it becomes like, hold on, it's like 1%.
Oh, and you can't really see it.
Yeah, it's very small. So
yeah,
I don't know.
But okay, so if we were, here's just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could do like a taco. I think we could do like a taco spaceship, because that would be kind of cool too.
Make a taco spaceship.
Like I love the idea of like beaming up. Like I don't know.
It'd be funny if the taco was eating the people.
Right?
Like a giant taco monster.
That would be kind of cool, like chasing little stick figures. I don't know.
I wish it would read that small.
That could be something.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a funny animation to show on your stream, but I don't know if it would read as an emote, That's always the struggle, is like I have all these fun ideas for animations, but like emotes are so freaking tiny that like you have to like it becomes hard to read that. Like even like these ideas of the aliens beaming it up, I just don't think you would see it when it's that small, Like that's why making the dancing turkey one.
Like the dancing turkey. Yeah, I was just thinking of that one too.
Yeah, serious. So you can see the detail a lot more.
I like that, and technically this turkey's beaming away.
Right, exactly.
Who put it on? Be Kind has an it emote.
That's awesome.
Like or not an it. What's the Pennywise?
Oh wow.
That's what I remember. Like, what is a clown called? Pennywise.
Yes.
I'm like, whose is this?
Oh, that's terrifying.
Ksenia. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, they have all Halloween emotes for this thing. That's a cool idea, to just like completely like wipe your whole slate free for like a month, and
like Halloween emotes. Yeah. We were talking about that in Irene's stream earlier. Because Tina had a whole bunch of like Halloween ones, and that's where Irene was like, that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the It movies? Yes, I have. I love like the It movies, the old, like the 80s and the new ones. I've
seen parts of them, but I have not seen the whole thing. I don't.
I really liked them a lot. I don't know. I feel like I'm more. I don't know. I didn't like the last when they made as much.
I love that one. The pumpkin spin.
I liked it better in the 80s version. But I like part 1 better in like the 2000, it was like 18 or 19 when the first one came out. Like, so yeah, it's like I like the new version of part 1 and I like the older version of part 2. Although part 2 new one obviously had a more realistic looking, Pennywise, and everything was more realistic in general.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Skarsgård, I'm not sure if that's how you say it.
I think it's Skarsgård.
He did a really good job making Pennywise look like terrifying. Whereas I can't remember who was the guy in the first one. Oh my gosh. I imagine him in my head, but
who's the actor in the first one?
Yeah.
Tim Curry. Thank you.
Tim Curry. Yes, thank you. He was just a lot more, kind of like cartoony, goofy, clown looking, but also also just like freaking terrifying. Like there's a reason why I think our whole generation is scared of clowns. It's because of it. The 80s version.
Tim Curry's such a great actor,
it's a different scary. Yeah. It's a different kind of scary, right? Because like the original Pennywise in the movies was, it was different. And like in the newer ones, I think they made him look more demonic and like more real. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, exactly. Be Kind is like, yep. that's why our whole generation is scared of clowns.
Sad that he's had that stroke and he can't do anything anymore, Like he was such a great actor.
I remember because obviously I think like the first one came out in like 1980. I wasn't my parents were already together, but I wasn't even like a figment of their imagination at that point. But I remember one time, like it was like in the 90s, watching it like on TV. It came on, and I must have been like 6 or 7, and it was one of the I was like scrolling TV, and like it was on, and it was just like I just remember being like terrified. I'm like, this is like freaking scary. Like I couldn't sleep for like days after that.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
now as an adult, I watch scary movies just for fun. I love horror movies.
Yeah, my wife was super into horror movies for a very, very long time, but then she had children, and then she's a very active imagination, and so
Ooh,
like it was just
I
it
can
kind
see
of
that.
ruined it for her, you know, like she just didn't want to
Uh-huh.
like have those thoughts about it potentially happening to our kids or whatever, and she's just
That's
it's just
true.
funny because
No,
like
that's a very
when
good
I
point.
met her, like that was probably her favorite genre of movies, was scary, and I've never been a big in the scary movies, so she always went with friends and stuff like that, and you know,
Mhm.
it's weird. I kind of like the Alien Predators movies more than like the traditional
Ooh.
horror movies. Like I don't know why. I always like that
'Cause
more.
yeah, because those are like, I mean, because they're technically action films,
Yeah,
but they're
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah,
horror at the
exactly.
same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they're
Like
still
more like
scary, but
it's
they're
like
they're they're action
psychological
films.
action movies. Like
Hmm.
like I
Hmm.
love like is it Event Horizon and like what's it called? There's a lot of those like space movies that are like kind of
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah, like a good again, like a good like action, but it's also scary at the same time.
hmm
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting.
So
I
Prometheus being
remember
really strange.
Prometheus
Yeah,
being, ooh, yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Prometheus, because that was an Alien. Was it a prequel?
It's
I
a
don't
prequel to
remember.
Alien.
It was a
Yeah.
prequel, right? Yeah.
hmm
It was interesting because it didn't feel very like it was connected to Alien, but like it didn't feel like an Alien movie. Like, like the original series. It was interesting.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Be kind for me. Like
Mhm.
I also have a very active imagination, which is why I'm an artist. You know, so
Yeah.
I very much like I can see that. Yeah, the cyborg character you didn't
Yeah.
like that one. Yeah, was his name David or something? I think. Or yeah,
I don't
it's
remember. Yeah. I
yeah.
remember I saw that in the movie theaters, but I only like that was the only time I've seen it. And like I remember seeing it. I just don't remember that much.
Prey looks pretty
Oh,
cool.
Ryan saw Smile last week. That
Ooh,
one looks creepy.
yeah.
Have you seen the previews for that one?
Big guy for me. Yeah, I mean, if you have an active imagination, you can be an artist. You just got to practice. You know, I
Yep.
think it's just trying to get those ideas down. It's so interesting because like I could never be like a painter or by
Mhm.
hand by draw. My hand doesn't do what my brain tells it to when I'm trying to draw it. But for some reason, using a
Mm.
trackpad, I've been able to like get past that and be able to. Also, the undo button is very helpful. Like if I
That's
make a
really interesting.
mistake, I can go back, or you can have
Yeah.
multiple layers. And as you saw, we just took a design that we had. Now you know why I keep so many layers, because in 5 minutes I was able to create an alternate version, and make it
Mhm.
happen. Or I can now
Yeah.
take these layers and I can animate them later or whatever. And
That alternate version was like real. I was impressed how fast that went.
yeah, yeah. Usually, like
That went by really quick.
yeah, a lot of these ideas come by pretty quick. Well, I'm so used to designing for animations now, for because everyone wants animated emotes, and
Mm.
so I used to have to think in like 10 different frames or 5 different frames, and so when you're just like, oh, it only has to be one frame of this, like it actually becomes like easier,
Right,
like.
you're like easy.
So like, let me put that all
Right,
together.
you're like that's easy peasy.
Have I ever tried Mid Journey Bot? I love it. It's really. I have no idea what that is.
I don't know
Is
what
that a
Midjourney
game?
Bot is.
Yeah, I have no idea. What is that?
Really,
Yeah, let us know behind. Now I'm
like
interested.
it
Yeah,
like it sounds like it might be a game. I have no idea.
yeah. I
No clue.
most of the games I play are Smash Brothers. Games on the Switch.
Ooh,
Things like
Smash
that.
Bros. One. Yeah, and so the only Smash Brothers I ever owned was like the Nintendo
I
64
still have
one.
my N64 and
Um,
the game.
oh,
Yeah,
that was I wish I still had my Nintendo 64. I don't
I need to
remember
bust it out
I don't
and
remember
show.
why I got rid of it, but
I should bust it out and show it to
yeah.
my son, because my son freaking like is obsessed with my
Yeah,
Switch, because I
your
won't let it.
son would love it.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I have every Nintendo system, so I have it for every system it's ever come out for. So I have it on the N64, the GameCube. I have the 3DS, the Wii, and the Switch. We got my son a Switch actually for his 4th birthday, so he could do the Mario Kart virtual reality racer. Have you seen that thing where it's a RV racer that you can drive around and you build your own track? And then if you watch really it cool. on the screen,
I love Mario Kart.
It's
That's
augmented
awesome.
reality. So you're seeing it from the perspective of the RC racer, but it's overlaying on top of it all of the Mario Kart stuff, which is really kind of cool, like in your living room or whatever. And so we got it for that, but it ended up really liking. I have Mario Olympics. Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics, and so he loves playing those mini games. And he just really likes Smash Brothers now. And then we usually like play co-op.
Like Mario Party, like that one was super fun.
That is, I think that's still. I don't know if a 4-year-old could play that though. I feel like it'd be really. I was trying to teach him Monopoly the other day, and like it lasted for like 10 minutes. Like he was super into it for a few minutes, and then it was like it just got to be too much. Like,
I mean, there's some mini games you could probably figure out, but yeah, I mean, there were.
You know what I want to play is I
feel like they're very strategy wise.
Yeah, I want to bring up the N64 because one of my favorite games was Pokemon Stadium because there's so many really fun, simple mini games for that.
I remember
really
that
cool.
one. Yeah.
So that would be really
that
fun for him. Yeah, and then
that was like one of the. I was gonna say that was one of the first like Game Boy Pokemon. I think it was like the first one.
Yeah. And what was cool about it is like you could get the little Game Boy adapter, which I have somewhere, and the old Game Boy touches. You can play it on the TV, and then you can like download them and then battle them in 3D. They're actually remaking it for the N64 emulator on the Switch and coming out next year. So that I'm excited about. They're bringing both of those games. But yeah, and the other game that he's kind of got into now is Animal Crossing. Because Liz and I put 400 hours into that during the pandemic, building this island. And so then,
I've never played it, but my brother is like super addicted to it. Like,
I never played a previous Animal Crossing.
Not so much anymore. For a while, he was talking about Animal Crossing all the time. It's like, okay, like chill. But apparently it's like super addicting.
Well, it is. And like I had never played an Animal Crossing game before. Like, and you know, I had all the time in the world to try it out, right? So like and what was really cool about it is I actually bought it to go to birthday parties on Twitch with other streamers. Like they would invite people to their island, and so I could fly over to their island and hang out with them on their stream, which was really cool. And then ultimately I was like, oh, let me try to build something. And then I played it for a while, maybe like 50 hours, which is pretty good, but not like a ton of time. And then my wife picked it up, and then she put in like 400 hours into the thing. And like made it pristine and every flower and everything. And what's cool is you can jump in together, and so the two of us could like do stuff together in it. And at the time, Zach was really young, but then now 2 years later, because it came out in 2020, and then we kind of forgot about it, didn't really play it for the last year and a half. And then so now Zach is making a house on the island, and he can go through and do into all of our houses and play and stuff like that. And we could join him and stuff. So
yeah, that's right. Cool. Like my brother. I mean, he's only like.
Oh, speaking of Pokemon, a Pokemon has just appeared in chat.
Ooh. Yeah, my brother was like super into Animal Crossing for a while. He probably still is. Like I said, I think he just plays it less, but. For a while, it's like he would talk about it all the time.
I'm gonna switch screens here because I figure we're pretty much done. Yeah. I think I'll explore all of those different designs and to you, and we can always revisit them too. It's not like once we've designed them that it's all done. But it's kind of at least we got 3 cool designs that we can work with, and I'll give those to you and. We could always make alternate versions of them and stuff like that in the future. But this is,
I really like it.
Yeah, I think 3. I think it's. I'm happy we come up with 3 designs because I think for a merch store you should have more than just one thing. I think that there should be options.
We should definitely have another one. Be Kind earlier had mentioned obviously, we probably don't have time for this, but she had mentioned earlier something about either something with like a guitar and like a taco. I don't know if she meant like a taco in the guitar. I kind of like the idea of and this I would also use as an emote, like a taco playing a guitar. Like that would be kind of cool to have.
That is kind of cool.
So that's an idea, just to sleep on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something I could look into doing in the future, at least. It's
yeah. I know. Be Kind mentioned that like right at the beginning, and like right at the very beginning, and I just I just kind of kept it in the back of my mind, like that's a really great idea. Totally do that.
They don't even know what they meant. That's funny.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know what I meant.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think I just spiraled with what you said. That's what it was. But
yeah, I would love to do it.
It was something about like, oh yeah, guitar and a taco. Like, yes.
Yeah. This has been good though. I can't believe the stream is already 3 hours gone by. It goes by quick. Like that's crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, the first hour you were doing your podcast, but we've
true.
occupied the last 2 hours with this.
Yeah. So as much as I would love to do more, I think my COVID brain has probably hit its maximum of design times for today.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, hey, you're sounding and looking great, so at least it doesn't look like you're still sick, but like it looks like you're getting better.
Yeah. It's funny. I think physically almost all this stuff has gone away. It's just the mental fog that's there. It's just like it's hard to describe to people. It's just like you don't feel all the way in it. But luckily, I've been able to still design and keep some of my like a couple of days ago, I couldn't remember 4 minutes before. Like it was really kind of like scary at times, and I was like, oh shit, like is this my life now that I just can't remember stuff? And that really kind of scares me, because I was like, how am I going to do my work? Like I was trying to do like on Friday I tried to do work, and it took me like 3 hours to do a 45-minute project, and I was like, that's not going to work for me. Like I know I mess around a lot on Twitch, during my day, but like I need to have the brain power to be able to do two things at once.
So yeah, I mean, I think we all do. I'm fortunate, I'm on Twitch a lot during the day, but I'm actually working at the same time, which I know seems like it's not the case, but I am.
Right. No, I know I am too. Well, I think a lot of us are like, for me, I've done the same job for 13 years, so I have templates for all of my different projects. I have like examples, and if I can remember all those things, then it goes pretty quick. Right. Basically, everything at a school is cyclical, right? So it's all going to come back around, and sure, it's going to be a new variation on it, a new school music. Like today, I had to make
like you have like the fall stuff and winter, spring, So absolutely.
Today it was like my job is I had to make a playbill for a fall play. Like I have now done that 10 times, right? So like I can grab an old template, I'm grabbing copy, I'm pasting it in, and making it look new, but at the same time using what we did before.
I remember like growing up, like in my school, like they definitely recycle stuff every year. They, like I feel like they would make new things every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It was like or they had like 3 or 4 different ones that they would just alternate every year.
Yeah, so I make the school magazine every year, and like we come up with a new complete template every 4 years, but you're not gonna like restart from scratch every time. Like you need to like work on a template and stuff like that. And to answer Be Kind for me, unfortunately I got like COVID last week, and it was it was scary, and so that's why I'm actually quarantining away from my house. I'm in my dad's office. My dad's in Italy right now. I was like, can I use your house while you guys are away?
That works.
Yeah, so that I was actually in their basement while they were still here, and then it was weird because I was in my high school bedroom, and so that's like a time warp. But of course, it's got all my when my grandmother passed, she gave us all of her old stuff. So it's my grandmother's stuff in my high school old bedroom. So it's like this weird hybrid room, so that was tough. It's just been really hard to be away from the kids. My daughter had her first birthday on Saturday, and I couldn't be there in person for it, and that's awful. That's really tough. It's can't. I just added that ability. So that way, whenever you hug somebody, it shows.
Like, that sounds sad. You've only been hugged 2 times. That your whole life. That's it.
So
Technically, one
I
hug.
added.
This was the
I
second
saw
hug.
somebody did this with their hug command, where it would actually tell them how many times that user has been hugged, which is kind of cool that Stream Elements can store that information. So I decided to add that in. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Mostly just to copy the code that if I ever needed it for somebody else's stream, I could. So.
Right. I mean, someday you might have like 700 hugs, and that's kind of nice.
Right. Exactly.
But see, now, okay, now Ryan hugged Be Kind.
CT was asking,
has one hug. Oh, that's cool. So interesting. So, but it's like per user. So
yeah.
Now it's gonna know that Ryan has been hugged once in your stream.
No.
Interesting.
Ryan hugged Be Kind. Right.
Oh,
so it's how many times Be Kind has been hugged. So that whoever's receiving the hugs is getting counted. So that person has gotten that number of hugs, which is good and bad. I don't know if I didn't. I haven't installed it on a lot of other people's streams yet because I didn't want people to have like competitions, like who's been hugged the most. Like I don't know if I want it to be too competitive.
Right. Oh, I can see that happening. Or right. People feeling bad. You know, somebody feeling left
I feel like
out,
in Carly and Josh's stream, like it just wouldn't fit the vibe, you know? Like I don't care as much. Like I don't like it's like people don't hug a lot in a sports stream anyway. So, like
you know, people hug a lot in sports. Like anytime there's like a like
in football, it looks like they're hugging all the time.
Exactly, they're hugging all the hockey. Well, hockey, they're just like knocking each other out all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
They hug each other so hard, they're like ripping each other's teeth.
No, but there actually is a lot of hugging in hockey because there's a lot of like them holding each other away from each other and holding them back, and
very true.
like so.
Very true.
Yeah,
it's a very affectionate sport.
Well, they're face washing, as they call it, So
right.
So CT wanted to see what the designs were. We'll showcase them one more time before we leave here.
Yeah,
so let's show them one more time.
I should probably sign off soon.
Yeah. I feel you.
Oh, I love that Dancing Eddie emote.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones that I've done. That one took me the longest of any emote that I've ever made. It was.
Well, did you have to like animate each leg?
Every single frame. Hold on, I'll actually show you how I did that one real quick because that one's a really interesting one. Let me just switch to our art scene. Make us a little bigger.
I can imagine
so what basically Eddie found this this person doing this dance. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit. I know it's pixelated that big, but it gives you an idea.
Like look at that.
So he found this person.
Did Eddie actually dance and send you that?
He found some
stream. Like a person.
It's on YouTube. He found someone doing this dance. And I had to so then you can do this really cool thing in Photoshop where you import video into layers. So every frame of a video becomes its own layer in Photoshop. And then if you look at the animation, it's just going from one frame to the next. But then I deleted every other frame because you have a max of 60 frames, right? So I deleted actually 2 out of every 3 frames to get it down to like 48. And then I had to cut out the background for every single one of those 48 frames.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added his face on top of each one.
Wow.
So you can imagine that took me like 4 or 5 hours to do.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were gonna do something totally different, but that's cool. Yeah, I really like that emote a lot.
Yeah. All right, so let me show you. Let's take a look at the ones that we've done today.
Yeah.
So we got tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that one's one of them. We've got music around the world, one taco at a time. We'll call it the Batman edition. And then we got. Right, we're going to the original one. Is this one?
And then we got. Let's see.
So I'm gonna try to.
And then we got. We'll just call this one like the World is on Fire edition.
Right. Let me see if I can get all 3.
Oh, thanks for the hug. Because I've been hugged twice.
Nice.
I did not know I had been hugged the first time. Which is a weird thing to say.
Let me see.
Oh, you know what? I think CT hugged me at the beginning of the stream. I remember now.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I remember being hugged now. Oh, yeah, there you go.
So there we go. Now we can have Oh wait, this is off screen. And then trying to figure out how to orient them so I can get all of them on the screen at the same time. So I got one.
Oh, Be Kind was streaming? What? I did not know this. You got to let us know these things next time, Be Kind, so we can all come and hang out with you. I did not know this.
I think there's a way that I can make all of these. What's the tool?
Are you trying to get them all three
to show up the thing? Yeah. There's a way to make.
I don't know if they would all fit.
Yep, here we go. Okay.
There you go. Like stack. There you go. It's probably as good as it's gonna get. Oh yeah, but you can make it smaller, and then somehow there's a fourth one.
Oh, it's the animated one is the fourth one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot we were doing an animated one just for funsies.
So there we go. Now we can smile and it'll be our thumbnail for YouTube.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
go. I love it. I think it looks cool.
So there you go, CT. Those are all the designs right there. Yeah, that's cool. So
yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, if I make these into a T-shirt, I'll end up getting some myself, right? But
yeah,
I would 100% I would wear these. Like, they're cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with them.
I don't know which one of the taco ones or like the world ones I like better. Like, I like both of them.
Yeah, I think that they all have their own coolness to them. They all have their own unique style to them. So it'd be awesome. It'd be cool to see who ends up getting. And then you should put the Missing Got Tacos on a coffee mug, just because of the irony of that. I think would be
I mean, it would be great if I could just get some actual milk cartons like that printed.
But then you could have it, if you put it on a coffee mug and you poured milk in it, then you could pour milk out of a milk carton.
Ooh, that sounds very like Inception. Like,
yeah. Right?
Or like, I don't know, it sounds like the Matrix or something, like something very trippy. Be Kind. Well, we're gonna do the dancing taco. Will be off stream.
Yeah, I think I've hit my mental limit. We were originally going to go till 10:30. We went to 11:30, which I'm fine with, but I don't think I can go to 12:30. So
yeah.
But
it's 9:30 my time. Another hour.
True.
No, I know you should definitely get some rest for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. But because it always takes me time to unwind. Oh, there. Welcome, Klingon.
Hi, I'm Klingon. Hello.
Yes. So
these look
you can
really,
see these are the final
these
designs.
Really great.
So I think that they could be some cool things. We could even animate them and stuff like that. And but cool. Let's come up with a raid target since we actually have 10 people in here, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna pull up.
I don't even know
who's on. Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm looking towards the bottom because I like to, give some love to some of the.
Yeah. Let's see. Dream On is on. Dree's really cool. There's a whole bunch of people, but I think Dree would be a good suggestion.
Yeah, I like that.
Natalie Page, I think, also just came back from like her wedding break as well.
Oh yeah, I really like Natalie.
So, like that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, either of them sound great.
Yeah. Chat. Does anybody have any thoughts on it? Oh, there's a Pokemon. Pokecat. I've missed all the Pokemon today, but.
Oh, I always miss the Pokemon when I'm.
Yeah, it's hard when you're streaming.
Even when I'm streaming or not streaming, yeah. I just miss them always.
Well, I just even haven't by the time I typed it in,
Yeah, when I'm streaming, I just don't really pay attention to them. I see it on the chat, and I like it that people are going, trying to get the Pokemon on their own. But I
love that I've been able to get that to be a big part of Twitch music because, I've talked to the creators too because The creators
Oh,
had
that's
no
cool.
idea. Like, first of all, they're Twitch streamers, which is cool because they actually stream the development of the game, and they're not graphic designers. So there's been times I've gone into their stream and given them some graphic design tips, like I think that this should go there, it'll look better. This part should go there, because they're asking questions from chat, but because they're coders, not designers, and that's my starting was in coding, so I understand it from that point of view. But in college, I decided after my freshman year. That everybody's going to need a logo, a graphic, and that's going to differentiate my code. And I already like to program, so I could always go back and learn whatever language later. And I thought that
Gibson Lens is streaming. He would be a good one too.
He is good. I did just rate him like 2 weeks ago, so that's why I was thinking about somebody.
Oh, okay.
Somebody different, but who did? Oh no, I guess
either then. Jomsy's also streaming as well. Jomsy's a lot of fun.
The Resurrection Firm, a good one.
My suggestion would be Dree, but
okay,
totally up to you guys. Dree's also a really good friend. So is Natalie, but I feel like I've rated Natalie a lot because we tend to stream at the same time, and so I'm like, if I can have any influence, like it'd be cool to rate somebody else.
Right. I'm just seeing how long that they've been going for. Natalie's doing Just Chatting and then doing Gartic and stuff like that. I've never rated Natalie, and I'm good friends with her. Let's do that one. I think that's probably
let's do it.
The way that I'm going to go tonight. So let me do the raid and the sub-raid command. People can pick whatever one is available to them, and then I will do a raid of the Natalie page, and then while that's happening, I'm going to do one more shout out for the LG Music. So if somehow anyone in the chat's not following the LG Music, go please do so with the new cool shout out pop up.
Oh yeah, I noticed that earlier in I think it was Irene's channel. It like pops out now. That's cool.
If you do / shout out, it will do that. And then what's cool is it'll pop up only for the people who aren't already following them. And if they are, then it doesn't pop up, which is kind of nice. So it doesn't bother them, and so it's kind of
really cool. Yeah.
So they're trying to be nice since you can't host anymore. So tonight was the last night of hosting. I didn't even suggest people do it because they'd already turned it off about 2 hours ago. So
I noticed that too because I was looking for hosts earlier like where to host, and they turned it off, unfortunately.
All right, well, everyone follow the LG Music. We're about to hit this raid button. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. This is the last of my art streams. I'll still maybe do pop-up art streams every once in a while. Next week, we'll be back with our hockey preview show at 9:45. We'll be covering the Commanders, probably losing again. And then we'll talk about the Wizards preseason as well. So, but I hope people tune in. Thank you for tuning into the art stream. I appreciate all of you. It's about to kick me out. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you grab the raid call, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks everybody. And we're there.